Good evening and welcome to Newsnight on Metro TV. The news is also live on DSTV on channel 277. My name is Issa Moni. We have the headlines coming up. It's a packed edition tonight. Stay with us as we bring you the headlines. First day of constituency elections across the country by the opposition National Democratic Congress ends with some success. And as Cancer Awareness Month this October gradually draws to a close, mobilization for funds, screening and treatment across the country has been intensified with call on men to be more supportive. And in business, the government reaffirms its commitment in reaching a staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, by the end of 2022. And on the international front, airstrikes hit critical infrastructure in central and western Ukraine as Russia continues to target the country's energy sector. The NDC on Saturday, October 22, began elections of constituency officers to steer the affairs of the party across the country. The election is scheduled to end tomorrow, Sunday, October 23. Let's take a look or take a tour of some of the regions for the fallouts. In the Greater Accra region, only 29 out of 34 constituencies began the exercise. The remaining 5 constituencies, apart from Amasaman, were to go to the polls on Sunday, October 23, to elect its constituency officers. However, delegates in the Ashaiman constituency became disappointed when news reached them that elections in the constituency had also been postponed to Sunday, October 23. The rescheduling was due to late arrival of ballot papers, which was also not up to the expected number of voters. Aspirants, including some party supporters, say the development is an affront to the constituency that is considered one of the world banks of the NDC.
Early in the morning to vote for candidates of their choice to lead the NDC in Ashaman for the next 4 years. Party paraphernalia and posters of candidates defined the event at the venue. Officials of the Electoral Commission were equally geared up to ensuring a free and fair election, but only for a long wait for ballot papers to arrive. Anxiety turned into agitation as some party members believed late start of election could be worrisome. When the ballot papers arrived after 1 p.m., the constituency chairman, Tony Afenyo, announced the majority decision to allow voting to start. But the electorate had to wait for another 1 hour to be told that the ballot papers brought in were not up to expected number of voters.
Executives, including myself, me, Tony Afenyo, and then my executives and now MP is not involved in what is going on. Ballot papers no buy. Now banana subject home and yeah fault. And yeah Allen fault. And yeah Secretary Bian fault. And yeah Obia fault. But from region and national, it is the Koto Justify. Pamu just said, you better postpone election to tomorrow morning.
Member of Parliament for the Ashaman constituency, Ernest Henry Nodbe, was not happy about the development.
It is time that they know that Ashama is the stronghold of the NDC. It is time the region and national know that Ashama is the stronghold of the NDC in Greater Accra, if not Ghana. So you need to pamper the constituency. You need to treat the constituency with that dignity. You cannot go and build registers of the Central, the and other areas to run election and delay that of Ashama.
Other aspirants shared their frustration with Metro News.
When I haven't eaten anything else at around, I'm talking to you. And I'll be there for almost 8 o'clock. Up to by this time, they said the ballot paper, there is a problem.
No. There's a foul play. So that means the letter, those who supervise our letter this year are not serious. Freeman and Co, they are not serious. So they need to change all of them.
The electoral officers consequently postponed the polls to October 23, 2022. Metro News will keep you posted.
Still on the constituency elections, my colleague Fred Clarence Williams was at the Ladade-Kotopon constituency in the Greater Accra region and reports the exercise progressed peacefully.
2,300 delegates participated in the constituency elections and featured a total of 46 candidates who contested for various positions. The exercise began at 7:30 Saturday morning on October 22, 2022. The Member of Parliament, Rita Odolisoa, urged delegates to elect leaders with track record to propel the party to victory in the 2024 general election.
Today's election in Ladade-Kotopon is very peaceful as it's ongoing. The delegates have exercised a lot of patience and they are in the queue waiting for their turn to vote. And it's a very peaceful election. They are here in their numbers to make sure that they elect executives that are going to lead us, that we are all going to work together in unity towards victory 2024.
The communication member of the NDC, Kelvin Tete Kateno, lauded the peaceful nature of the process, stressing the NDC is the only party that can rescue Ghanaians from the prevailing economic hardship.
People think that 2024 is a done deal. I always have a problem with it. The fact that the MPP is not performing is not automatic that the NDC is going to win. We as an NDC must ignore their incompetence and work hard towards our victory. We should not think that because they are not performing, it's an automatic thing for us. We need to actually galvanize our grassroots and mobilize our grassroots towards the 2024 election. And I believe strongly that if we sell our message well against their incompetence, it makes our work easier.
Now, some candidates at the Tema East are already jubilating, although EC officials are yet to declare the results. Women organizer candidate Kwanzaa and youth organizer candidate Mohammed Bashir are claiming victory ahead of the official declaration. My colleague Jeffrey Mauto Atipo is on the beat and joins us. Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey, can you hear me? Jeffrey, I can see you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so we are in your constituency now. So has the declaration of results been done now?
Yes. All right, so thank you very much, Issa. I can barely hear you over here because of the noise at the background. But currently, as I speak to you, counting is still ongoing. They are yet to conclude on the counting, but some of the positions has already been counted. But officially, we've not. The EC is yet to officially announce the results of those positions. So I can tell you that the communications position, the organizer, the youth organizer, and the women organizer treasurer positions has already been counted. So currently, what is happening at the back there is a counting of the treasurer and deputy youth organizer, amongst others that are currently being counted over there. But what I want also to report now is that a few of the candidates are already rejoicing, even though the Electoral Commission is here to announce officially the results of the day. But some of them are already in the jubilant mode, as I've already sent some visuals. So if my camera can pan to the other side, you could see some of the delegates waiting patiently for the EC to, come out with the final verdicts or the results of proceedings of the day. So they are here in their numbers waiting patiently for the results to be announced. You know, the election earlier was supposed to begin at 7 a.m. in the morning, but due to some challenges that they've encountered, the electoral officials have encountered, they couldn't start on time. So the election begins around 10:30 a.m. It ended around 5 p.m. And so from there, counting began. But as it stands now, like I said, counting is still ongoing for some of the positions within some of the positions within the constituency. So, but quickly, I have some of the contestants or some of the candidates over here who believe that they have won the elections. They are already in a jubilant mood, believing that the provisional results that are currently out is in their favor. So I have a few of them over here to speak to. First of all, let me engage one of the women organizer contestant over here to find out from her why she's actually jubilating at this time whilst the official results are yet to be declared. So, Madam, good evening. You are live on Metro TV.
Good evening.
Okay. So I saw you in a jubilant mood early on. Why are you jubilating ahead of the EC's declaration?
Oh, we are jubilating because what we are experiencing in Ghana now, it's a disaster. You know, we need women of power, women of confidence, so that we can take power rescue power from MPP party. Because
so should the EC declare the result that didn't go in your favor? What are you going to do? Because for now, the official result is yet to be declared, and you are already jubilating.
Oh, I know I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. You know, because Christ in our vessel, we shall surely smile at the storm. So I know I'm going to win.
All right.
I've won. No, I know I've won.
All right. So that's one of the women organizer aspirants over here at the Tema East constituency. I want to engage a few of them as well. I have a few of them as well who are also here in that same mood. So I'm trying to locate a few of them who are already jubilating. It's been a very smooth. It's been a very smooth elections over here at the Tema East constituency. I must say, when I spoke to the officials earlier, they told me that even though there were some few hitches in the morning or in the beginning, but they were able to quickly resolve those issues, and the elections began. So over here at Tema East, it's quite smooth. There hasn't been any incident of violence. There hasn't been any incidents of violence, like I said. So I still have a few of the candidates over here to speak to, who is already powdered. You can see clearly that he's in that mood of jubilance. So let me find out from him, which position did you contest?
Organizer, please.
So you believe you've won this?
Oh, clearly. I know what I can do. I believe in myself. I'm the deputy organizer of the constituency. First of all, I will give thanks to the Almighty God that He has done a wonderful thing in my life. People did not expect. It's not their imagination. But I believe in the one that I serve. I know that God will lead me. I know that God will send me there. I thank all my team who work entirely. We have a sleepless night, almost 3 months. And then I know that the confidence that the team and the entire constituency has imposed in me, I will deliver 2024. The work is not about MOF. My Evans is on the ground. The future is bright.
Right, that's from our correspondent, Jeffrey Mauto Atipo in the Tema East constituency, speaking to some of the contestants who believe they have won ahead of the EC's announcement. Meanwhile, in the Okankwe South constituency in the Greater Accra region, polls were also postponed due to misunderstandings over the ballot papers. We have the vice chairman, the aspiring vice chairman of the NDC in the constituency, in the person of Kojo Eje, who will be speaking to us at the moment. Good evening, Kojo, and thanks for your time. Hello, Kojo, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening.
Right. So we understand, that in the Okankwe South constituency, things didn't go well. Kindly update us. What exactly happened?
Good evening once again to your viewers. Actually, the election was about to commence as the Electoral Commission was there, and then all the delegates were set for the election to commence. So as people were going round voting, some of the aspirants, especially the chairmanship aspirants, decided to verify what was going on. So it wasn't actually a problem, but on the ballot paper, one of the aspirants saw that the position that he was not the actual position that he chose, or as they were doing after the vetting, they balloted, he was. So he raised an alarm, and then the secretary of the secretaryship also, an aspirant came and also raised a concern on that issue, the same issue. So the election committee of the NDC collaborated with the EC to verify, and after they verified, they saw that even not the chairmanship alone, as well as the secretaryship, but also deputy women's organizers and then the deputy treasurers, also there was a mix-up in balloting. That was what transpired. So the regional executive representative who came to that place, they reported to her, and then in the person of Jessica, and then she said there should be a consensus for us to build so that we will be able to rectify the situation and then have an amicable solution to it. So that is why the election was cancelled.
All right, so could you kindly update us? So what is next? When will the elections be held in that constituency?
So at the moment, until the region sits down with the aspirants and then make sure that a date will be set, because people were calling for the following week, that will be 29th, for the election to be held. But as of now, region has not sat down on the issue. They will be meeting the aspirant in the course of the week to ascertain the issue, the problem, and then make sure the election will run successfully.
All right. Thank you, Kojo-Adjei. Kojo-Adjei is aspiring vice chairman in the Okankwe South constituency in the Greater Accra region. Now, let's turn our attention to other regions where elections in the Upper Denkyira West constituency were called off, getting delegates stranded. The decision followed an attack on Electoral Commission officials who were mandated to conduct the elections. The EC team en route to the Congress grounds from Cape Coast were attacked, and all ballot boxes and papers were burnt into ashes.
The police, by chairman say, national chairman, regional chairman, one must see a prayer of a family to happen, and maybe to happen. Accreditation. 950 something with the executive purpose I want to Abama NDC. Obia friend the chairman. So chairman ma mayu so chairman ma. Na accreditation no yam fama 99. Ya be jira wa say. Wa person to magu amano. Table ni si akotugun area e bekan. Wa person to ma chairman UK no. Table ni si
And our Central Regional Correspondent, Akwesi Addo, joins me on Zoom right now to give us the latest from the Upper Denkyira area. Thank you for joining us. So what is the latest? Did the election finally take place?
Okay, so finally what we can report is that the elections took place, but in a very more dramatic and fascinating manner, because the leadership of the party resorted to presenting pens and papers to their respective delegates. And then they also provided some card boxes. And so what the candidates were made to do was that you write the name of your preferred candidate amongst the aspirants, and then you place them in the card boxes that were provided at the grounds. but that was done amidst party songs and then some wild dancing moves in the Upper Dentra West constituency. And so eventually, the incumbent chairman, John Kay, emerged as winner in that particular constituency as the constituency chairman. And so to the party, they believe that they've been able to have a successful elections.
So, Akwesi, let's talk about the EC officials who were attacked. How are they faring?
Okay, so the EC officials are faring well. They were not physically attacked, except that the attackers only snatched the ballot boxes and then the ballot papers and some other election materials and then burnt them, but allowed them to proceed to the Congress grounds. But you see, we may consider these elections as maybe one that has not been properly organized here in the central region or without any proper directives put in place. Because party leadership directed that apart from 3 constituencies, the remaining 20 constituencies should all put the elections on hold. But as I speak now, just about some 30 minutes ago, we had polls beginning in the Ewutu Senya West constituency. That is Bontrasi to be precise. In the Ejumaku Enyan Esiam, contrary to the directive that was given earlier on, they also decided to proceed with the elections, but witnessed some sort of commotion, forcing leadership to call off that particular elections in the constituency also. So we've been witnessing some sort of drama, commotion in some of these constituencies here in the central region.
That was Akwesi Addo, our central regional correspondent, giving us an update on the Upper Dentra situation where some EC officials were attacked and ballot boxes were burnt. Now, the Ashanti regional chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Andrew Nana Akwesi, has said the party is working closely with the aggrieved party members in the Menchia South and Swami constituency of the region, who injuncted the constituency elections to settle the matter out of court to allow the 2 constituencies to also elect their executives as soon as possible, so as to join forces in unity going to the 2024 elections. Andrew Nana Akwesi spoke with Metro News after touring some election centers in the region.
Everything is going on well. I've visited about 9 constituencies so far, and everything is going on well. The voting turnout is very good. You can see how our branch executive has come out to vote. That shows how active the party is. And I pray that by 5 o'clock, whoever becomes the winner, NDC is the winner. We don't have a winner, we don't have a loser. We are all one family, and I hope that the betterment of the NDC and inshallah 2024, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will come as the next president of the Republic of Ghana.
Last week, and a week here, I know I started it here. I said, we whoop out, bet my trauma NDC. Yeah, the number to my now, you two one. Fire, Eddie is sick as a man. Yamitu Minty, the woman that church, Muhammad Ghana for in there.
Now let's go on Zoom and speak to our regional correspondent, Abdul Basit Suleiman. And Abdul Basit, good evening and many thanks. So kindly give us an overview. Yes, great. I can see you. Could you give us an update about what has transpired during the day?
Yeah, generally the exercise has been peaceful here in the Ashanti region. Just that there has still been a long queue, as you can see behind me. I'm currently at the Swansea constituency where there is still a long queue over here. People are still here trying to cast their vote. And most of the constituencies that have been are still have not still finished voting yet, just because the elections did not start at the schedule. Most of the constituencies started after 10 a.m. this morning, and it has traveled far to this time. Ashanti constituency is one of the biggest constituency with 1,850 delegates over here. Right now, a lot of them are still in the queue trying to cast their vote, even though generally the atmosphere has been very peaceful in all the centers that have been. And there has also been a call for calm and unity among both the aspirants and the delegates wherever have been this afternoon and this evening as well. The member of parliament for Ashanti constituency, Mutaka Mubarak, is still here trying to monitor what is going on over here. As you can see behind me, there's a whole lot of people over here. People are still queuing to vote over here. I'm very sure it will sound.
Right, so let's move on to the northern region now and speak to our correspondent via phone for an update. Hello, Al-Hassan D. Baba, if you can hear me, good evening and welcome to Newsnight.
Good evening.
Right, can you give us an update of what has transpired in the northern region?
All right, thank you so much. In the northern region, there are 18 constituencies in the northern region. And actually, 9 out of the 18 have conducted full elections in their respective constituencies, talking of the Eastern Corridor constituencies, like I mentioned in the afternoon. That is Zabzugu, Bimbila, Willensi, Pandai, and many others in the Eastern Corridor region of the northern region. But in Tamale, within Tamale North and Tamale South conducted elections for 5 positions, like I mentioned earlier: the youth organizer, deputy youth organizer, women organizer, and deputy youth organizer, and the youth rep. They conducted elections for those 5 positions, waiting for tomorrow that the main elections will come on. So in the Tamale Central constituency, the incumbent women organizer, Ajia Hamida, won by 103 votes as against Ajia Barkisu, who garnered 63 votes. And the deputy youth organizer also garnered, deputy women organizer, Ajia Azara Jetuma, also garnered 108 votes as against her contenders who are behind her. So in the northern region, everything was very smooth because we did not experience any incident in any of the constituencies. So the elections in the northern region was very cool. But I must mention that this is not the main election. The main elections comes off tomorrow. That is on Sunday for the northern part of the region. That is talking of Tolong constituency, Tamale Central, Tamale South, Sandargu, Savlugu, and the Kumbungu constituency. They are all going to take their elections or conduct their elections tomorrow, Sunday, God willing.
All right. Many thanks for your time and that reportage, Al-Hassan D. Baba. And you're watching Newsnight on Metro TV. An election of NDC constituency executives is underway across 16 regions, with elections put on hold in some areas. A total of 354,708 delegates are expected to cast their ballots to elect new constituency executives for the NDC in a nationwide constituency polls today. So the delegates include branch constituency, regional executives, and former government appointees. Meanwhile, the party has put on hold elections in some constituencies due to disputes over delegates' lists. We are joined by political analyst Dr. Bonsu Osei-Usu for a conversation. Hello, good evening, Dr. Osei-Bonsu, and thank you for joining us. Right, so it's been a mixed bag for the NDC's ongoing constituency elections. Concerning, of most to us, is the attack on EC officials, the misunderstandings which are prompting postponements, and some other events during the day. So how best should the party handle these matters?
Yeah, I think this is an internal election, and a party in opposition that is preparing to take over power from the government in power. This is the time I think they have to calm down and come together with the EC so that they will be able to solve this internal problem. This is not the time they should revisit their problem with the East.
So, Doc, are you surprised by today's events?
Oh, yes. I was very surprised because when they conducted their polling station election, everything went on smooth. And they were happy and trying to even cast some insinuation against the NPP, where they had some problems at the initial stages of their internal election. So we were thinking that they have learned some lesson from their polling station election so that it will continue smoothly. So I was surprised what happened today.
Do you think it's a sign of disunity in the NDC?
Yes, because if you look at the way, especially the General Secretary and the National Chairman are conducting themselves towards the National Executive election for the position of the chairmanship. I was not even expecting this thing to happen at the lower level. I was thinking that maybe because of the way they have started throwing bombs on each other, it will be bloodshed during that level election. But unfortunately, this thing has started from here, and it will divide the party into two. The supporters of General Secretary, who is now going for chairmanship, and then the supporters of the chairman. So the leadership of the party have to sit down and quickly solve this problem. Rather than that, it will create division within the party.
But, Doc, going a little further, why should that be a problem? It's rather should give us a healthy party competition, shouldn't it?
Oh, yes. But if you look at the way things are going, the current chairman never thought that the General Secretary will come and compete with him. And I think that is where the problem started. And to the General Secretary, no position is reserved for one particular person. Hence, there is a need.
Hello, Dr. Bozos. Yeah, are you there?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that this shouldn't be a problem because no position is reserved for any particular person. And as a politician, they should expect that people will come to compete with them. And it is internal election. So there's no need to insult each other. And when one person gets the position, it will be difficult for the other one to come together with him to campaign for the general election in 2024.
So, Doc, finally, do you foresee a stronger NDC after all these pockets of problems in the electing their officers?
It depends upon the way they handle themselves. If they don't take care, it will create division within the party. The two of them, especially the General Secretary, I think he has got so many followers. And supposing he loses this election at the chairmanship position, and he decides his way, his followers may follow him. So the leadership have to be tactful and solve that problem.
Right, you're watching Newsnight, and still to come.
The women who are used to wearing one brassiere 1 week, please, it all adds up to giving us breast diseases. At least one brassiere 2 days. And don't wear one brassiere for more than 3 years. After 3 years, get rid of it and then get new brassiere.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflow Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Give Us Floor and WC Cleaners.
It's the month of October, and indeed it's Breast Cancer Month. So, leader of the Royal Ladies Ministry, Reverend Mrs. Rita Kranchi Ankra, has urged men to be supportive of women in the fight against breast cancer. She believes by so doing, the cancer can be contained in both men and women.
Reverend Rita Kranchi Ankra, leader of Royal Ladies Ministry, demonstrated ways both men and women should thoroughly check their breast for signs of cancer. Breast cancer, which has become the most common cancer-related death among Ghanaian women, is becoming a great public health challenge, with approximately 2,900 cases recorded annually.
Please, the month hasn't ended. Take advantage. Walk into any clinic, walk into any hospital, walk into any lab, and say that you want to have a breast screen. It is free in the month of October. Number two, you yourself, when you wake up, maybe once a month, put soap around your breast or oil around your breast with your 3 fingers and then start checking. I mean, it's very, very important. And then if you are a married woman and you have a husband, please, the husbands are supposed to play the role of nurses in the bedroom. They are supposed to play with your breast, not only playing with it, but as they play, they are checking if there's any lump in your breast.
At a free screening exercise at the premises of the Royal House Chapel in Accra, Reverend Rita Kranchi Ankra called on women across the country to champion breast cancer screening, conduct self-examination exercises at least once a month, and visit the hospital regularly for further treatment.
The women who are used to wearing one brassiere 1 week, please, it all adds up to giving us breast diseases. At least one brassiere 2 days. And don't wear one brassiere for more than 3 years. After 3 years, get rid of it and then get new brassieres. As we do that, trust me, our nation will be free of breast cancer.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflow Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Give Us Floor and WC Cleaners.
It's Newsnight on Metro TV and time to do business. And beginning business tonight, the government has affirmed its commitment in reaching a staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, by the end of 2022.
The Finance Ministry pointed out that negotiations will continue with the IMF mission team expected in Accra in the next few weeks. This is coming after a government delegation successfully concluded a trip to Washington, D.C. to attend the annual meetings of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund and continue negotiations for IMF support for Ghana's post-COVID program for economic growth. It said the annual meetings concluded successfully with a renewed sense of urgency for countries to rally together to bolster the global economy in light of the dim outlook for advanced and frontier markets alike. The delegation is said to have had several positive and encouraging engagement with the World Bank, bilateral partners, U.S. state officials, and external investors. It explained that several meetings were held between the government of Ghana and the IMF, advancing negotiations towards a fund-supported program. Adding a clear path towards the final details of a program has been agreed upon by both parties with the goal of reaching a staff-level agreement by the end of the year.
And the International Monetary Fund, IMF, wants countries such as Ghana and Zambia with very high inflation or acute domestic demand pressures to tighten their monetary policy further.
with pegged exchange rate, the fund said in its October 2022 Africa Regional Outlook report, the amount of tightening needed will vary, but both monetary and fiscal policies should be consistent with supporting reserves and maintaining the credibility of the peg. It also said for countries with more flexible arrangements, a sudden surge in capital outflows presents authorities with a choice between tightening monetary policy, letting the exchange rate depreciate, or intervening directly to support the currency. Intervention to smooth exchange rate volatility is a helpful part of the policy toolkit, but it is constrained in many cases by low foreign exchange reserves. Most countries have external positions that are weaker than justified by fundamentals and so could benefit from depreciation. In these countries, a mix of tightening and nominal depreciation might be preferable. So far, the fund said monetary authorities throughout the region have indeed moved cautiously. Over 2/3 have started increasing policy rates to ensure that inflation and inflation expectations remain in check. But rate hikes have not kept pace with the pickup in headline inflation. This caution, it stressed, is likely appropriate given the supply side origins of recent inflation and muted demand pressures. But it urged authorities to still keep a close eye on possible second-round effects, as the cost of fighting inflation are typically much higher once inflation expectations become entrenched.
And Ghanaians are reeling under the impact of the harsh economic situation. As the cedi has hit an all-time low against the US dollar, many businesses are on the verge of collapse, and the call for cushion is louder than ever before.
The Ghana cedi has slumped significantly against the US dollar. By close of Friday, the Ghana cedi lost further grounds to trade at 15 cedis to the dollar. This has forced members of the trading community to shut their shops for 2 days in protest against the high cost of doing business. Economist Courage Boti explains the reasons for the cedi slump.
If you're an investor and IMF is telling you that Ghana is approaching debt distress levels, naturally you would want to start moving out your monies if you have the chance. A lot of people are taking those monies and going to buy the dollar, buy some FX and keep, because that one, they can keep it even in their room and still make good returns on it. They can keep it in their FX accounts and make good returns on them, and government will not have control. And debt restructuring, if it happens, will not have effect on those kind of investments. That is the trend I'm seeing in the last few days, the last few weeks really, is the reason the cedi is falling quite sharply.
It said the situation is forcing investors to move out and called on government to hasten negotiations with the IMF to broker a deal as soon as possible.
Investors were taking risk in Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria and other such African markets. I mean, so long as your fundamentals are okay, they were taking risks. Now they had the problem of most of those countries hiking interest rates because of the inflation problem that are persisting there really. So long as there are concerns about their investment here, they would always move into those havens now, or those countries now whose interest rates are higher. The inclination is that we need to accelerate negotiations with the IMF towards a program.
He also called on the public to cease buying the dollar if there isn't the need for it.
We need to cease buying the FS at its stand now.
Right.
If you do not have real need for it, let's cease buying it, because what it will do is to cause problem for everybody, including your own self, and the returns you would have made on purchasing dollars will not be enough to make up for the price you will face on the market.
Meanwhile, some members of the opposition parties have criticized government for the current economic woes.
But what about the ordinary man whose savings has dwindled to nothing? That if I had 20,000 Ghana cedis in the bank, putting it as a buffer against any storm that comes into my life, today it is nothing.
And so if at any point in time we feel that you are not delivering on that mandate, that we are not using our resources judiciously, we have every responsibility and every right to point that out to you. And the least we would expect from you is to talk down on us.
But government spokesperson on governance and security, Hargrave Boachi Dankwa, is assuring Ghanaians of relief soon.
Last year, you'll recall that the president said that he does not care about the election, but he cares about the next generation.
Right.
Especially as it relates to COVID-19 and all the things that we did, which clearly means that we are thinking about the development of this country, not just because we want to win an election. The very teething challenges that we are having in this country clearly are being addressed.
And moving away from business now, eyes are the mirror of the soul, the main feature of the face that allows you to connect with your surroundings and to help you remain mentally sharp. However, little Abdul Rahman Tego does not have the luxury of seeing with both eyes, as one of them has been badly affected by cancer. His parents are therefore appealing to the general public to support them raise funds to save the other eye of their child from being infected. Right, sending your contribution in support of little Abdul Rahman. You're watching Newsnight on Metro TV. Time now to do some entertainment news. And in this segment, the Youth Bridge Foundation has premiered its much-anticipated movie, Wildfire, themed on COVID-19 and its impact on Ghana. The movie was premiered at Alliance Francaise here in Accra.
It was a night to behold. The arts patrons came out in their numbers to watch the premiere of this much-anticipated movie put together by the Youth Bridge Foundation in collaboration with JSC Productions and Osiwa. People could not hold themselves as they burst out laughing, enjoying every scene of the movie as it was being shown. Michael Akinrogunde is the director of the movie.
These are things that we actually deal with in real life. So if you have hidden cameras in people's lives and you can see what happens in their lives, you would see many of these themes, coming through in their daily lives. So it wasn't, it was easy-ish to put that into the movie. A lot of people had experiences with COVID, but there were hardly any experiences that had been documented. Because it's a pandemic, people are either shy or ashamed to talk about like how they lived with it, how they lived through it with their families. So I think it was just important to show how the pandemic and COVID-19 affected marginalized societies, and then that's what we tried to do with the movie.
Some actors featured in the movie also spoke to Metro News.
I understood the bit of the evangelist, and I knew that this is an acting bit that I need to tone down a lot of things to bring the actual person out. Then I can fuse in a little of my comic to make it, stand out there. So it's something, one of the roles I've really loved. I've never played an evangelist nor a pastor in any movie. So it was one challenging, but yet still one fulfilled one for me.
It was interesting actually working on this set. I love it. We had enough time to put ourselves together. Living in one place for close about 10 or more days. It was an experience. It was really enough time to bond together like we all saw. And this is the first time that some of us are actually working with some of the people that we work with. If we get a chance probably in the future, I'm sure we should be able to do something much better than what we saw.
Wildfire tells the story of COVID-19 from the Ghanaian perspective, also highlighting issues of disability, love, sexual harassment, and other pertinent societal issues. The movie features renowned actors Ajite Anand, Martha Ankuma, Calibos, Zimran Clote, and several others.
Looking forward to having a chance to see it myself, Wildfire. Now here are some stories making the headlines on the international front.
Nigerian farmers say they are expecting poor harvest this year after heavier than average rains pummeled crops and brought widespread floods. The flooding is affecting most of Nigeria's states and other countries in the region, killing hundreds. Floods have blocked or washed away roads, and transporting produce to markets now take longer and cost more money than ever. Farmers say 20% of their goods get spoiled on the road. Former Chancellor Rishi Sunak is leading the race to become the UK's next Prime Minister. Although Sunak hasn't officially declared his stance, it is believed he will do so soon, and he already has the backing of at least 100 Troy MP. That's the threshold needed to get on the ballot. Boris Johnson has travelled back to London from a Caribbean holiday as speculation grows that he will also run. Sources planning his possible campaign say he has the required number of backers, but Sunak supporters call for proof. Airstrikes have hit critical infrastructure in central and western Ukraine.